Welcome to Overwatch. This time we're going to be talking about, well, something kind of important. It's an FPS game, so aiming is going to be vital unless you're playing some kind of bizarre freak alien from the moon. Oh wait, people do that in this game, right. Anyway, regardless, one of the biggest differences you'll spot as you go up in ranks, even at the very highest level, is that the ability to put a crosshair on someone and kill them is dramatically different. There is, in my mind, a major direct correlation between the ability to kill an enemy swiftly and the person's rank. After all, how many matches have you been in where there's a Genji who just never seems to be able to finish people off, forever spamming shurikens or trying the right click and melee combo, but never seeming to deal enough damage to end someone? Or Hanzos who maybe hit 1 in 10 arrows, and when they hit, sure, it really hurts or might kill someone, but they're struggling to kill regularly and quickly. Even the most die-hard support main needs to have some killing power, especially in this meta with this mother-loving monk in the game, so aiming is kind of a big deal. So then, to me the big question is, how do you best improve it? Well, aiming drills are nothing new in FPS games. People have been doing them for absolutely ages. Some I put actually good stock in, and some I really don't. For example, in the background you can see me sniping a bunch of the training bots. I'm not the biggest fan of doing this. They're somewhat predictable, there's zero urgency, there's no real challenge to it. It's kind of purposeless shooting for the sake of shooting. And that's the first thing I want to address, to train with purpose. I've commented on this numerous times in the past, but it's always worth restating. Having a goal in mind when you load up a match or a training session can be incredibly important. Naturally, for these you want to be focusing on accuracy. We're also going to be focusing on, well, Widowmaker. This does have some nice trickle-down effect onto other heroes, more so your McCrees or even your Pharahs than your Soldier 76s, but it's all still relevant. First things first, let's talk about how to snipe and how to shoot. You've probably heard of tracking, aim, and flick-shotting. Tracking is what it sounds like, the ability to hover a cursor on people and make it stay on them. Soldier 76 and Zarya, for example, are really good examples of heroes that need tracking skill. In this video, we're going to be mostly focusing on flick shots when sniping, with a few of these drills and practice methods on how to really improve them. This won't make you into a master overnight, but doing these daily, yes, daily, will see incremental small gains over time. After that, well, there is no finer substitute than actual practice in live matches. What you're seeing in the background is some drag shot or flick shot drilling. The idea is to slowly move the mouse across to one side and fire in a single uninterrupted stroke. Getting steadily faster, you want to avoid losing accuracy. I find these 3 targets on the practice range especially useful. Focus on shooting the middle square. Hitting any of the side squares means you stop, reset, and move on to the next target while it spins around crazily. If you want longer range, there is a distant target up near the top of the training map. Just remember that you can't reset this one as easily, so keep track of whether you're under aiming or over aiming if you do start knocking it around crazily. And by the way, before you ask, I'd run on 800 DPI with a 13 in-game sensitivity on Widowmaker. That's considered very high actually, but I've always played games with high sensitivity. I'll probably start shaving it downward over time as I keep working on these drills, but for me, it's definitely a comfort thing. I'm getting old a bit as a gamer, and so I'm sort of set in my ways. I know a lot of pros use around 800 DPI and around 8 or 9 in-game sensitivity. What really matters is finding what works for you. Some general words of advice: focus while you're doing this. There's a temptation to almost slack off, but make sure you open your eyes, really open them, and watch. Pay attention, be honest with yourself. When you slip up, recognize it mentally as a slip up. Strive to hit the target. Accuracy is what matters. Speed will come with time, but accuracy requires effort and practice. You'd rather be moderately quick at shooting but reliably hit the mark than a fast shot that misses often. After doing these drills, if I have time to kill, I found a good relaxing way of practicing sniping is abusing the Anabots. There's 2 ways of doing this. The first, simply go to a King of the Hill map or Anubis. I found Temple of Anubis works equally well for this. I like Nepal especially though, as it has wide open control points and lots of different areas for sniping positions, and make sure the game is turned on headshots only. This means that the Anabots cannot kill you or anything else, but you can kill them. They'll move in semi-random patterns on the point, bumping into each other, jostling each other, and generally being, well, kind of unpredictable. Players can also frequently be kind of unpredictable. My advice is to start off easy, stay on the same horizontal level, get a moderate distance away and just start shooting. Resist the temptation to snipe them as they come running onto the point. as that's kind of cheating a little bit, and it's a little bit too easy of a shot, kind of missing the point of what you're trying to do here. And pay attention to your shots as you fire them. Make sure, are you over aiming, are you under aiming? There are moments at times when I will fire a shot and I'll realize after I fired it that I wasn't properly considering the shot. I was just hoping for some kind of, reaction to magically take over and guide my hand to the enemy's head. Find your aiming style. Are you a complete flicker shot sort of person, snapping to targets quickly, or are you like me? I tend to track near the target and then do a very short adjustment just before the shot. Find what works and what is consistent for you. Keep an eye on your accuracy. The number won't lie. For reference, I tend to float around 23% on headshots only. When I started doing these, I was floating around 15%. After you've warmed up, change your position. Find somewhere with vertical movement involved, so somewhere overlooking the control point. Temple of Anubis is a map that works surprisingly well, as the first point has that archway overlook where you can see down onto the point. Avoid payload maps. The bots really like to stand still around the payload and it isn't useful practice. Sometimes they'll just clump up on the point, even on control point and King of the Hill maps, but just execute them quickly so you avoid complete anarchy, haha, and a pile up of bots. At the end of the day, this is all practice. You're going to need to take this into a real match at some point, but doing a little bit every day to get consistent improvement never hurts. Just make sure you are focused on improving, and that's always going to be key. Also, when you do take it into a regular game, just be careful when you pick Widowmaker. Not always going to be useful on King of the Hill, just saying. McCree does work fine, and a lot of the skill does translate right over, so pick him instead. But yeah, play around with doing things like this. Find what works for you. Find something moderately entertaining that actually holds value. Avoid things that just pad your ego, like shooting the bots in the practice range. They've got enormous heads and they move incredibly predictably. The nanobots are a much bigger pain in the ass to hit, and the models are a lot more finicky. One thing I do need to test more that I actually found works oddly well is doing the same thing but leaving the bots on easy difficulty and just running it normally without the headshot mutator. They barely shoot at you over long range, and what they do shoot at you is mostly sleep darts that you can dodge, and you can actually just plink away at them pretty freely, although again the practice likely is not as good as just the pure headshot training. Either way guys, if you have advice on how to improve your aim on something like a sniper, I'd be interested to hear it in the comments. Drilling might sound unnecessary or pointlessly hardcore, but it's been proven to work. I'm a big believer in the 10,000 hours rule. Even though it's been debunked in some fields, it holds pretty much true for something like this, that if you spend 10,000 hours practicing something, chances are you'll become a master of it. That's a long damn time, but working towards it never hurts. Considering I can't lock Widowmaker in every single game without hating myself completely, these drills provide a way for me to keep growing over time. But yeah, I've been Josh, as one voice amongst many. This has been a quick video on aiming drills and how to improve. I'm curious to see if you guys have any information or any advice similarly along these lines, or any other advice to give in the comments, or if you think it's all bunk, but at least try to stay why if you do think so. Thanks for watching to the end. Toodles.